Welcome back. Nigeria's acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, recently signed 3 executive orders with the potential to significantly change some of the ways government business and operations are conducted and possibly see the country out of recession. However, trade experts believe what Nigeria needs is a coordination of business activities with targets for the MDAs and not signing of more agreements to get the country out of recession. An expert on international trade and integration, John Isemede, joins me now on the program to talk more about this. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So we saw the Nigeria's acting president last week sign these 3 new executive orders. Is this the way forward?
Thank you. There's already a first step. And first and foremost, we want to thank the acting president for the step he has taken. But looking at the scenario, it's one-sided. And it's just for the MDAs. MDAs are not the ones running the business of the country. They come up with regulations, laws protecting us at the local and international levels. What are those providing the manpower? The universities and the research centers have not been visited. Then, the final type of the relay race belongs to the organized private sector. By now, we could have been thinking the organized private sector is shouting, blowing off the roof. And what the step the acting president has taken may be new to some people, but to some of us that have been in business for decades, not new. After independence in 1960, there was the National Rolling Plan, and out of which Nigeria moved from one step to the other. And by 1972, we're talking of National Food Program. We've had Operation Feed the Nation. We had of Green Revolution and all that. Did not take us anywhere because because there was no proper coordination. Now what we are seeing, and to thank the vice president, or the acting president in short, is to bring all parties to the table. You are giving targets to the MDAs. Who is giving targets to the universities? Who is giving targets to the OPS? By the time we talk about the OPS, I will come into the area of support that we need, in the area of infrastructure and all that. The culture of importation has not allowed Nigeria to grow out of recession.
So are you saying that these executive orders don't involve, it doesn't involve the private sector?
Holding meeting with you without giving me a target on an assignment does not mean that I'm part of it, but what role am I going to play? In other parts of the world, when you hear of recession, we have universities, we have research centers. They don't come to Nigeria to borrow money. They go back inward. There's what we call backward integration. Challenge the university, challenge the research centers. There are more than 200 universities in Nigeria, private or public. They are universities. Their assignment is to develop the manpower and the managers of tomorrow. What are we getting from them? Apart from strike, apart from demonstration and all that. A lot of universities abroad, they make money internally. So what are we getting from? This is what I'm trying to say. To invite me for a meeting, you are inviting the private sector. All right, look at Lagos, for instance. Look at the railway network. From Apapa to Tinkan is little or nothing. Tinkan to Oshodi to the airport could have solved all the problems. That is what the private sector should be telling the government. And not only that, go to Ikeja now, there's a kiosk. From the Ikeja railway station that have been there for more than a century to MM1 is not up to half a quarter of a kilometer. So we have seen this in other parts of the world. And if we look at it, first let's give it to the Minister of Agriculture. When he came in, the first thing he realized was to give us a true picture of what is happening in Nigeria. Take a state of Punjab in India. The population of Punjab is just Lagos and Kano. And they have more than 2,000 tractors. In the whole of Nigeria, we cannot boast of 30,000 tractors. And we are in recession. Then, if you look at agriculture, what do we import into this country? We import sugar from Brazil. What is the population of Brazil? 203. What is the contribution of the manufacturing to GDP in Brazil? About 80%. What of export? Out of the production, 55%. Take Malaysia that took the seedling of palm oil. Today, palm oil is 200% above world market price from Nigeria. And some of the funny agreement we have signed, people will now bring in this and we are talking of ECOWAS, we are talking of TLS,
yes,
we are bringing these products back into this country.
Talking about agreements, Mr.
So,
Semede,
all right, for instance...
Nigeria, no, let's just continue. I know that you're very passionate about this issue, but you mentioned agreements, and we've seen Nigeria sign over 550 agreements from national level, talking about bilateral, multilateral, and all. But in spite of all this, the country is still in recession.
The country is in recession because we are not working together. There's a total disjoint. And every Nigerian wants to make money. People don't want to go into research. People don't want to see what lies below the horizon. People want to make money through importation. When you are talking of agreement, agreement is not only by the government. If you go to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Culture, Education, even MBA, they have agreement. Students, they have agreement with other neighbors and all that. The essence of this agreement is for integration, for cooperation, for lowering of tariff and all that. But in this part of the world, some of these agreements are not even known by those who signed them. Take, for instance, the 40-40 agreement we signed on shipping. We don't have a single national carrier. National carrier is even different from a national fleet. National fleet is when you have people coming together to buy. When you now have that agreement of 40-40-50, and when you hear of seminars and workshops, Nigeria wants to be the center of shipping in West and Central Africa. 40% for goods leaving Nigeria by Nigerian vessel, 40% by foreign owner, and any other for 20%. So these are some of the hiccups we are having. There's need for proper coordination, target for every MDA, target for the organized private sector, and target for the university lecturers.
Now, let's look at the issue of ECOWAS. I mean, Nigeria is one of the founding members of ECOWAS, but many have argued over time that there's been little impact in Nigeria's membership in the Union. What do you feel about this?
A lot of Nigeria knows what is happening in Britain and America. They don't know what happened around behind their houses. Lagos to Cotonou is 100 kilometers. Lagos to Togo is 250. Lagos to Accra is 400 and 450 kilometers. As at the time ECOWAS was put together, it was not the way the EEC, now the EU, was put together. ECOWAS was put together by the EU as a tea party when they wanted to sign the Lomé Convention 1 in 1975. It's like coming to me, you want loan from a bank, come and open a bank account. That was why ECOWAS was formed. The only country that was not there at that time was because of flight connection, which was covered. So most of the things we are talking about in ECOWAS is already on the books of the Francophone countries. Out of the 16 members, Mauritania has pulled out. We now have 15+1 because Mauritania have not been able to join the north. The common currency, I came here, I told the world that West Africa is not prepared for common currency because the CFA in question belongs to France. There is no central bank in Cotonou. There is no central bank in Togo. There is no central bank. What they have, currency center. Because that currency tied to the French franc, when France joined the euro, automatically they've joined.
I know there's a lot to
There's a lot in the area of VAT. VAT is 5% here, 5% is over there.
We'll have to continue this conversation some other time. I'm sure we'll have to invite you over again to talk more about this. But thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Thank you. Yeah.
And that's our program today. Thank you for watching. I am BC Adebayo.